First of all, none of what happened was my fault. Not really. Well, wait. I suppose this is only going to work if I'm honest, mostly honest with my intended reader, and also with myself. So, okay, I'll come clean. Some of it could be laid at my feet. But I swear, the business that had started as a prank and ended up rattling governments and destroying lives, my life most of all, would have taken place whether I'd happened to be in London that long ago summer or not. And I will say that if I'd been in charge, things would have gone a whole lot smoother, beginning to end. And a couple of men who ended up shot might not have been. Because look, I take pride in my work. Too much, maybe. I suppose that's part of the problem, but honestly, I do know what I'm doing. Usually. My mistake here was instead of setting it up and making the decisions, I took my eyes off of who could be trusted and left a couple of key steps to others. And they, of course, made the most idiotic decisions possible. Yes, I, of all people, trusted the wrong man. No surprise, then, that things flew out of control. Before I knew it, I'd lost my family and friends and had to scurry off to parts of the world that weren't quite so hot for me. It could have been worse. Not a whole lot worse. At least I wasn't in prison. Or dead. And the world is an entertaining place. A few years went by, then more. I lived most of it far away from old friends and actual family. But I kept busy, and I certainly had the means to be wherever and whoever I wanted. I made new friends. Some became almost a new family. However, I'm not good with unfinished business. That pride thing again. So, when I got word that the situation concerning this dangling piece of an old job might have changed, I began to wonder if I couldn't combine it with some unfinished personal business as well, an absence that had nagged at me for a long, long time. One that had grown more troubling with the passing of each year, not less. I did keep track of her. A handful of times I arranged to catch sight of her from a distance, but it wasn't the same. Surely, I began to think, after all these years, things might have cooled down. The tracks grown muddy. I did my research. I laid out plans and backup plans. I spent a long time thinking about the dangers involved and the possible benefits. The first steps went well, then the next. And I began to think. Late September, in a village near Paris, an artist, a sort of relation by marriage with a dubious past who was big in the art scene, was marrying a lady doctor, this small, red-headed woman from the wilds of Scotland. Odd place to find a gathering of the most avant of the god, but they'd somehow managed to weed out the troublemakers before the champagne corks popped, and a couple of nice, muscular sculptors had been assigned the task of tossing out the more obstreperous drunks and poets, both of which meant that no children or old ladies were trampled. The doctor made a stunning bride, dressed in a gown that should have looked like something pieced together from a scrap basket, but managed to be a glory rendered in fabric. She shone. So did the artist. Damien Adler is his name. You may know it, and if you're reading this, you may also know that he is the illegitimate son of the singer Irene Adler and the detective Sherlock Holmes. If you didn't know it, well, there you go.